Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els coming from Bemis Crafted Corner, and today we're going to be doing this. So what this is this is packaging. I get these in Harry's Box of Food. They come between the layers, you know. They're sheets about like this, and you know, I can't figure out what to do with them. They're too thin to really be used as chipboard, and they're too thick to be used as cardstock. So I was like, well, what can we do with it? Well, here's what we can do with it. We're going to make some journaling cards, little tags and things out of it. Okay? And this is pretty easy stuff. So we're going to have some fun. We're just going to play with our embellishments and play with some sizes and punches and things, and we're going to come up with some stuff. So I'm going to get out some pieces and parts, and we'll get started. I'll be right back. Okay, supplies. Garbage. This is tissue paper. This, of course, is masking paper. I have some music sheets, some vintage newspaper, some tea-dyed newsprint. I have all of that. Just get this out of the way for the moment. I have some of that really thin chipboard that comes in packaging. I think these are backs of pads. Okay. Because we're going to be using very lightweight paper, we're going to be using glue sticks, Dauber ink, corner rounders, and something to protect our work surface so we don't get glue all over it. We're also going to be using a paper trimmer. Okay? So I'm going to move some stuff, get out a paper trimmer. We're going to get started kind of figuring out some shapes. I'll be right back. Alright, so we're going to start with just cutting some tags. So this is a 11-inch. So we'll cut it at 5.5, which is a good height for a tag. And then we'll go ahead and cut some tags. And I think that 3 is pretty good. 2 3/4. And then we're going to cut this one in half. We'll just make some little pieces. Okay. And then let's see the other side. Let's do a belly band. So like 1 3/4. And we'll do some little kind of journal card sizes. Okay, so we have our basic shapes cut. So the next part of this is to determine, you know, how we're gonna dress them up. So we have a belly band, we have a couple of tags, we have some little pieces, we can even go smaller than that, and we have some like journal card size. Okay, so let's do this one a little bit smaller. So right now it's at 3 3/4. Let's do right there. I'll give us a couple of little ones. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way, and we'll pull them one at a time and do this. So let's start with these little ones, okay? First thing we're going to do, we're just going to round some corners. Doesn't matter. We're just going to do it. So just jump in and trim your corners any way that you want. This is mindless crafting here, guys. There's no thought to this. You just do it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and round the corners on everything. And this I'm probably going to leave because I'm going to cut that to fit in something. So I'll leave that one alone. And I'm just going to kind of go through and trim all the rest of these up. And then when I'm done, I'll come back and we'll get started on the next part, which is, you know, the fun part. I'll be right back. All right, so now we have them all corner rounded and ready to go. So let's bring over all of our bits and pieces here. And you can use any tissue paper for this, any packaging paper, whatever you want to use. And all I'm going to do is just add some glue stick to the back, because that works best when you're using these lightweight papers. And I'm just going to randomly affix them on here. There's no real method to this. Tearing rulers are good. If you have a tearing ruler, you can certainly use tearing rulers for this. Because you don't want that pristine edges, you know. And don't worry if you go off, because you can just trim it off later. Yeah. Glue stick. It's not just for children anymore. Alright, so with that one, we'll set it to the side and we're going to move on to the next one. We've got this nice big tag. What are we going to do with it? It needs to be bigger. Needs some character. That's what it needs. Alright. Alrighty. So now, gluey, gluey, glue, gluey, 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 glue, gluey, gluey. Come on, you guys know, you know this tune. Alright. I don't even care if it's on upside down, right side up, doesn't matter. Alright. Put that on there. This one I think needs a little character. So if I just take an empty dauber, you know, like one that I haven't juiced lately, and just slowly swirl it on here, wherever there's wrinkles, it's going to pick up that ink. And that gives you that kind of dirty look. Alright, so we're going to move on to the next one. And I'm going to continue to do this using different pieces of thin weight paper. until I get all of these done, and then I'll be back and we'll do some decorating. I'll be right back. Okay, so the next part of this process is to trim all this off. So any place where your tissue paper or your napkin or whatever it is you put on here sticks out, just trim it off. Once we have it all trimmed off, then we can do our inking. Okay. So now we're going to ink. Oop. Forgot to trim this one. Now I'm just going to use a craft file here because I already punched this and the paper's too thin to, you know, use in my punch, my corner rounder. So I'll just use my craft file to take that off just like I would with a piece of Mod Podge. Alright, so now I'm going to ink. And at this point, I would normally say, stop, don't go any further, okay? Because this is a make-ahead, so it's something, this is not a mass make. Mass make is when you make stuff and you complete it, and then it's all pretty much the basics, but it's all the same style because you're using the same materials that are sitting on your desk or in your work area at the time. So a make-ahead is something that you only make to a certain point and then you decorate later. Journal cards, tags, things like that, those are things that we're always going to be using. So that's stuff that you can make ahead and then just put it to the side and let it sit until you need it. Then when you need to do a small journal card or a tag or something, you can just pull it out and go, oh, I have this one and this one will work. Too much ink there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and ink all these up, and once I get them all inked, then, you know, we'll decorate a couple of them just for fun. All right, but if you're going to make these ahead, this is where you're going to stop. All right, so if this is a make-ahead project for you, stop. Don't go any further than this inking part, okay? If you actually are just doing this because you're going to put these all in one journal or something and you're going to be making them all, then by every means, let's decorate. Okay? This is actually one of the original pieces. I just didn't get it inked, so I thought I'd throw it in here. All right. So go ahead and ink up all your pieces and come on back and I'll give you some design ideas on how to decorate these things. Okay? We'll just do a little bit. I'll be right back. All right, so I have out some of my little labels and tiny pieces and bits, and I have some stickers that are washi stickers. That we can use. And so we're just going to do a few pieces. We're going to do a tag, we're going to do one of these journal cards, and then one of these little ones. And Harry's down here trying to figure out how he can get into the box that holds all of these. Like, I know I can lay down in here, I just have to figure it out. Okay. Now, I don't trust adhesive on these. Because in honesty, they've never given me any reason to trust them. That's a little big. Maybe something a little smaller. I just want to give a little bit of color. All right, so there we have it. We made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 journaling cards, 2 tags, a belly band, and 2 mini cards. Okay? And these we stopped. This is a make ahead. Okay? I am making these ahead so that I can decorate them specifically later. Okay? And then these we finished just so we could kind of get an idea of, you know, how easily they can be finished. And then, of course, there's the original pieces. So this one we just put a little flower on it and a little label. And here we just have like a postage stamp with a vintage lady and a little pop of color. And then up here I added a tap and a piece of hem tape there. And then a little seam binding on this to turn it into a tag. And then, of course, we have the little one that we added a charm to in the originals. There's a nice tall tag. Could be a bookmark. A little journaling card. This one is hand-colored. And this one is a stamp. So that works really well on these as well, as to put a stamp on them. So we've got a stamped one. And this one is just perfect in the way that it is. It is just a stamp. I used a brown here. I think it's espresso. And that way it doesn't like overpower the card. And then this one here just has a little bit of lace on here and a stamp, and I did some random stamping on that. So there's another one. Again, here's another piece with, you know, newsprint on it, and we just did a little stamp, a little sticker, a little label, and it's ready to go. And then this one is just a big journaling card, and I just put a piece of ledger paper across it. I did a stamp that's a little bit of watercolor on that, a little butterfly, and then just a little saying. And it still could use a little more to get it to actual, you know, put it in something. But that's it. That's how easy these are, and they are addictive. Once you get started doing this, you're not going to want to stop. You're going to get to this point, and you're going to be like, oh, fantastic, I have a journaling card. I have a journaling card. I have a journaling card. And they're unique. They're not like anybody else's. All right, that's my project for today. If you're new here and you haven't done so already, hit the button for me and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends. And go ahead and check out the community tab while you're in here. That tells you everything that I have going on, what's coming out, what I'm making, what videos I've got coming up, if I'm traveling. It's all going to be there in my community tab. Now, if you'd like to get a little bit more involved, go ahead over to the Facebook group. There's a link in the description box below. And check that out. We have all kinds of events and things that go on in the group. And we would love to have you be a part of it. So, until I see you again, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.